friends, this is Vicki with Grandma Vicki Crafts, and today I'm going to make a sock pumpkin. And so I'm going to use a sock, and I'm going to use a long needle with some embroidery floss for my thread and some polyfill stuffing. So first thing we're going to do is take our sock, and I'm going to cut my sock off even with the heel. And I'm also going to cut the toe part off. So now we're left with this part of the sock. I'm going to turn it inside out, and I'm going to take my needle and my thread, and I'm going to just stitch up across the bottom. To close it up. So we'll just gather it up around. And we'll just go all the way around doing that part. Now that it's all sewn up, then we're going to just pull it in tight, gather it in tight, and then we want to close it off. So we'll just go across and close it off. Okay, and so now we have that part sewn and closed off. So we'll just cut that off, that thread, and we'll turn it right side out. And we're going to do the same thing with stitching it again across the top. Try not to get your thread tangled up. That's what happened to me there a minute ago. Anyway, so now we'll go across again, just gathering it up. All the way around. Okay, so there. So now we have that part all gathered in and around. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put our stuffing in it. So now we have our stuffing, and we're going to put the stuffing into our sock, and we're leaving the thread attached. We want to make it nice and full. So now I think I've got that pretty full. And now we're going to just pull our string to close it up. And then what we want to do is we want to tuck this down inside. We don't want that top part to show. So then when we have that tucked down in, we'll take our needle and we'll just close it off. And there we are. So now we'll just knot it off. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our thread and we're going to come down. And this is why I'm using, it's a doll needle. And this is why, because I needed a needle long enough to go through the bottom of the sock, the pumpkin, up to the top and out. And that's going to make our first little groove in our pumpkin. Now you don't want to pull it too tight, but you want to have it fairly tight. Then I'm going to go across, right across from it, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side and up through the middle again, pulling it snug a little bit. And it should look something like that. Then we'll go halfway again and up through the bottom and out the top. And then on the other side, across and up. And it's looking more like a little pumpkin now. So now we can do again between those two, and I'm going to have to get some more thread. But we'll pull that up and through. So here's what it's looking like so far. So now I have more thread on here, so I'll just continue going around. Be careful that you don't pull too hard and get your thread knotted inside. And I have one more time here to come around. So there we are. There's our little pumpkin. So that's pretty cute. So now we'll just knot this off, close it off. And there we have our little pumpkin. So now we need the little stem. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to make this little stem. So now we're going to make the stem, and I'm using some rope that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I've cut 3 little pieces, and they measured about 3 inches long. And I'm going to glue them together. And I've also got a piece of floral wire. And I'm going to incorporate this floral wire into this when I glue it together, so that I've got a way to give this a bit of a bend when this is glued together, because I want it to bend when I put it down onto my pumpkin. So I'm going to go and glue the 3 pieces together, 2 together like this. Then I'm going to put my little piece of floral wire in there, and I'm going to glue my 3rd piece on top of that floral wire just to cover it up. So now when I glued those together, I glued the 2 down first, then I put the white floral wire inside, and then I put the 3rd piece of the jute rope, and as I did that, I gave it a twist and I brought it down a little bit. So now this bottom part here, it can just kind of fluff out a bit, and we can put it right down into our pumpkin like so. So I'm going to go and I'm going to glue that down in there right now. So that'll be the stem for our little pumpkin. So there's what it looks like so far. And I think it's looking pretty cute. Now, if you've got too much wire down at the bottom, you can always use your wire cutters and just trim that little wire that you put in there off the bottom, so that the jute will kind of spread out a bit in the middle there of the pumpkin. So now we need to make this little tendril. So what I did was I used again another piece of my floral wire. Now the tendril will go down in here somewhere on the pumpkin, and then we'll have the little leaf to attach in there as well. So what I did was I took my wire cutters and I cut off a piece about 3 inches. Doesn't matter, you can make it as long as you like. You can always cut it off later. And then I took my embroidery floss and I just went around this, and I hot glued it at the beginning, and then I just wound and wound and wound this around until I got to the end. Then when I got to the end, I used my pencil and I just coiled it around my pencil, and that is what makes the little coil on for your tendril. So I'll go and I'll carry on with this part. So there's it is all wrapped with my embroidery floss. So now we'll take my pencil and we'll just go around and around just to give it a bit of a twist. And then you can pull it out to whatever you like, however you like it to look. And then we can just glue it on down in there. So that's what that will look like. And then I'll get a leaf and we'll put a leaf on here. So there it is. Now we have the leaf attached. So that's our little pumpkin. So that was pretty easy. So today, well, all we used was a sock, some fiberfill, embroidery floss, the long needle, and some jute cord and a piece of floral wire and a little leaf. And that's all that it took to make our little sock pumpkin. So if this is something you'd like to try, I hope you do. And if I've inspired you in any way to want to try to make one, that's great. So if you would like, share with your friends, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and always remember to be kind, and thanks for watching. Bye now.